It happened on a Saturday evening when my wife and I went out to dinner with some friends. The restaurant was crowded, full of laughter, clinking glasses, and chatter. I thought it would be a simple, relaxing night, but little did I know my wife had other plans. She decided to make me the target of her jokes, her voice loud enough for everyone around to hear. She mocked my clothes, my haircut, and even threw in comments about my career. At first, I laughed along, thinking it was harmless teasing, but the way people looked at me made my stomach twist. It wasn't fun, it was humiliation. She kept going, raising her glass and telling our friends how John is good at many things, but definitely not at fixing anything at home, which drew some laughter. Then she moved to even more personal things, mentioning arguments we'd had in private. My cheeks burned, and I felt the air getting heavier. It was clear she wasn't just joking, she was trying to put me down in front of everyone. The worst part was when she leaned back in her chair, smirking, and said, "Sometimes I wonder how I ended up with him when I had so many other options." That broke something inside me. My friends laughed awkwardly, but I saw pity in their eyes. That was the moment I decided I wasn't going to sit quietly anymore. She wanted to humiliate me publicly? Fine. She had no idea what storm she had just unleashed. I stayed calm and didn't respond that night. I smiled, paid the bill, and even pulled out her chair like a gentleman. She thought she had won, but deep inside, I was already planning my revenge. I wasn't going to scream or shout. I was going to show her in a way she'd never forget that you can't disrespect your partner and walk away smiling. The next morning, I began gathering everything I had kept hidden, screenshots, text messages, and little pieces of evidence I had collected over the past few weeks. I had suspected her of cheating for a while, and while I didn't want to believe it, my gut kept telling me otherwise. Now her public mockery gave me the reason to dig deeper. Within hours, I had enough proof to bury her lies. There were flirty texts with another man, late-night calls, and even hotel bookings. Instead of confronting her immediately, I played it cool. For the next few days, I acted normal, even more loving than usual. I made her breakfast, smiled at her jokes, and kissed her goodbye before work. She thought she was in control, but I was just waiting for the perfect moment. Revenge is best served cold, and I was going to serve it ice cold. The opportunity came during a family gathering the following weekend. Everyone was there, her parents, siblings, cousins, and close friends. She loved to be the center of attention, so I knew this was the perfect stage. Just like before, she tried making little digs at me, joking about how John can't even cook an egg without burning it. Everyone chuckled, but this time, I smiled wider than ever. I stood up, raised my glass, and said, "Since my wife enjoys sharing stories about me in public, I thought it's only fair I share one too." The room went quiet. She looked at me with confusion, probably expecting me to tell some embarrassing story from my childhood. But instead, I pulled out my phone, connected it to the TV screen, and displayed the screenshots of her conversations with her lover. Gasps filled the room, and her face turned pale. I read out loud some of the texts, how she called him the man she wished she had married, how she told him about lying to me whenever she went out with friends. The silence in the room was heavy, broken only by the sound of her mother's shocked voice asking, "Is this true?" My wife stammered, tried to deny it, but the evidence was undeniable. Her carefully built image of the perfect wife shattered in seconds. The same relatives she wanted to impress now looked at her with disgust. I didn't yell, didn't curse. I just calmly told everyone that I would be filing for divorce and wished her luck with her other man. The look on her face was priceless, a mixture of rage, shame, and helplessness. She tried pulling me aside, begging me not to ruin her reputation like that. She whispered frantically, "We can talk about this later, please stop." But I simply shook my head and said, "You wanted to embarrass me in public. Consider this payback." Then I walked out, leaving her to deal with the fallout. Over the next few weeks, the story spread through our social circle. She lost the respect of her family and friends, and even the man she cheated with distanced himself, not wanting to be caught in the scandal. Meanwhile, I focused on myself, moved out, and filed for divorce. For once, I felt free, stronger than ever, and respected. People later told me they admired the way I handled it, calmly and with dignity. Instead of sinking to her level with petty insults, I exposed the truth. It was painful, yes, but it was also liberating. I had turned her cruel game against her, and she couldn't do anything about it. Looking back, I realized the lesson was clear. Sometimes silence is the most powerful weapon, and revenge doesn't need shouting, it needs timing. She wanted to destroy my pride, but instead, she destroyed her own life. And I walked away with my head held high. To this day, whenever I think about that night at the restaurant, I smile. She thought she was clever, but she underestimated me. My wife tried to embarrass me in public, but in the end, I gave her an explosive revenge that she will never forget.